Alright, welcome back to another league race. This time we're with DNS. This time we are in Japan for the Japanese Grand Prix. A nice dry qualifying race. I was afraid of a wet one because I'll be honest, I did do a bit of practice for this. I wanted to bounce back, but Japan is one of my favourite tracks, especially for going back from last year. And I finally felt I found the right setup to where I felt comfortable in this game. So anyways, you come across to a banker of a 29.3 on mediums. So hooray for that. 2 laps later, I messed up the second lap, but I stayed out for a third, and we're going to come across and making a nice improvement on that time at 28.6 on mediums. And that was good enough for provisional pole at the time. So heading into this one, I want a strong performance here. You can see last run qualifying, 4 minutes 20 left. I want to make sure I got time in for 2 runs, and here is one of those runs. This actually ended up being my fastest lap of the race. See the barrier jutting out there, so that was nice. This ended up being my fastest lap of qualifying, 27.9. I had no delta, which was really annoying, but we're going to go for a little bit of a lap here. I don't end up finishing it, but you'll see kind of going through. The S section is here. You need to avoid that curb there if you can. Getting onto that curve, if you hug it, you can hug the rest of these pretty much, but if you get on that one, it just upsets the car a bit, and I don't like it, so I try to stay away from it for that reason. Try and not touch that one too much there heading through Dunlop curve. The rest of the S's though, try and hug if you can. I try and hug them especially. Here's a clutch dive from Swanee to get out of the way on my flying laps. He were even through the first sector. I was really pushing. This was looking like a decent lap so far, and with less fuel on board as well. So go through the hairpin there, heading up the hill, bumpy part of the track, and when you have the right setup for this track, this is just so nice to drive. So thankfully it's the same as last year in that regard, just the curve's a bit more vicious this time. Unfortunately, I'm going to run a bit wide at Spoon. I tried to let the car drift out a bit, but I just let it drift out just a little bit too far on that occasion. Try and hold it in fourth if I can. If I need the extra turn in, if I'm struggling with tyre wear or whatever, I'll go down to third, but try and come out and then back in for Spoon. But I just took too much on the exit, so, or on the heading on the outside part of Spoon, so I invalidated the lap. I didn't finish it in the end. I probably should have, because I mean the checker flag was out, so, but I came into the pits and that was qualifying sorted. Here we're just watching what the rest of the guys are doing. Only 10 drivers today, a lot of people working, but hey, if you want to join, you know, just send me a message. Tuesdays 9 PM, just saying. Joe did his fastest lap on supers, and then the big one, Scuba, decided he would also do his fastest lap on supers, and as a result he takes pole position, 3/10 there ahead of my time on the soft. So I was like, okay, this could be to my advantage, but I was kind of, he was saying to me afterwards, like, I bet you were smiling inside that cockpit when I saw him do that. And I was like, not really, because the mediums are quite good around this track. They'll go for a long time. So I was thinking, if he pits early, he's going to get undercut on mediums, and they might be good enough to go to the end of the race anyway. So if he has track position, I might be screwed. So that was my thinking there. Some other people doing softs as well. Dan Marr's a couple of tenths behind me in that one. So anyways, you can see there the tyres. That's what I mean. Like, you come in a few laps earlier on the super softs, you can probably get the mediums to the end. So anyways, soft to mediums, pit lap 11 or so, but here we go, 5 red lights and away we go. And as to be expected on the supers, Scuba got a much better start than I did, so I was happy to fill in then just behind him in second. Kind of, it's a very narrow entry to turn 1 and through the SSO, just wanted to be out of the way and kind of in my own space, and thankfully was able to do that. So you want to see the difference set of supers makes in the first lap or so. You can see the extra grip Scuba has as well. I'm kind of trying to be cautious a bit on these softs. I wanted to hit too many of these curves and just want to take it nice and easy. And you can see Scuba already running out to like a second or so lead already. So, but again, 9/10, same thing. I just wanted to be patient. I knew with those supers my time would come, but just a matter of when. Lap 1, it was such a stupid warning to get. Like, there you go. Like, that's lap 1. It's like, what a stupid warning to get. Like, not the chicane, not the Degners, not even Spoon, but the 130R is just a poor place. I was just careless. Anyways, 1.2 seconds we were behind Scuba on that opening lap. Lap 2, again, just coming into the chicane. The VSC is going to be deployed, and Joe Corby, who was in third, it came at the perfect time for Joe on supers. Made a questionable entry apparently into the pits, but no one saw. I didn't see it anyway. So he dives in, puts on the mediums, and that was I think that wasn't a bad move, to be fair. But anyways, what it allowed me to do was that the delta was, I was like, oh, okay, let me try and just catch up here, because look at the delta, I'm able to close right up behind them. I was caught napping somewhat there on the end, trying to get my fuel and such ready to go for the restart, and basically everything that I gained, I basically lost at that point. So I think I may have gained a tenth or two out of that at the end, but yeah, no more. I could have been a lot more. So anyways, I have to stick behind for the time being. Lap 5, 1.2 seconds. You see the gap there coming across the line, and this is the lap where things begin to change. So if you've got poor aero or poor tires, you're going to feel it through this first sector, and you're going to see how I close up to the back of Scuba basically in this sector alone, sweeping through the S's again, nice and tight. I kind of go between 5th and 4th at times. 4th usually I go through this section, and then try and take a wide-ish entry. You want to sweep onto that curb, or near close to it as you get up to speed, and then you can see the gap then just 7/10. Try and take that in 5th, just for a little bit of bite into the corner. You can't take it in 6th, of course. I think you took it in 7th in 2017. Later that lap 5 then, you can see if you get a good run at a spoon, you can set yourself up for a good move, and I got a decent run. I've been saving lots of ERS as well to the first sector, kind of taking care of things, and I decided now was the time to go. So narrow part of the track, Scuba just the middle. I get off the throttle. I didn't want to do anything stupid through there, but Scuba runs a bit wide, and I was going to go down the inside and the outside, but that wasn't on. I lose the back end slightly there, so my progress is impeded a lot coming out of the chicane, but Scuba did not get a great run through that final corner. Little bump there, and put into overtake, and flashes of TMC in League One a few seasons back. Very narrow line. I understeer into the corner again and try and go around the outside. I drag him up the hill with the better traction, and again get onto that curve that I said you shouldn't get onto. You see, they upset the car up there, right there, upset the car, and I finally get that move done. But that was very reminiscent of I think like I had all sorts of flashbacks to failing to get a move done on low key in Japan and in League One, and if I had got that move done, I would have ended up winning that race. But thankfully there wasn't an accident, but just that it's a tough place to go down the inside. You really want the racing line, but thankfully there wasn't any contact. Later that lap into lap 7, I've already pulled out 1.6 seconds because on Dan, because Scuba has decided he's had enough of the supers. You can see they went off, and he comes into the pits then onto lap 8. It's my fastest lap of the race now that I am in clear air, pushing a bit. 2.5 seconds is the gap between myself and Dan, so I'm just continuing to push on. Lap 10, you can see the gap is 4 seconds, so really extending an advantage near the end of this first stint. I planned to come in lap 11. These tyres could have gone longer, but and because they could have gone longer, it means the mediums could easily go to the end. So 4.9 seconds heading into the stops, and I decided there's no point risking anything here, so let me just pop in. Scuba I knew was probably going to get the undercut on me. Slow entry into this pit lane, slow entry. If you use the recommended line, you'll probably end up speeding. You have to go slow into there, and Scuba had actually sped into the pit lane. I didn't know this, and Jeff didn't tell me either about the penalty, so I didn't notice until near the end of the race. Anyways, we are into the onto the mediums, so I didn't know Scuba had that penalty, but it's so easy, so I made a conscious effort, because I'd done it in a few sessions beforehand, just go nice and slow into the pits, nice and early, don't want to risk anything. Scuba then does get ahead. I actually cut it out, but I actually do have a penalty at this point. I got a third warning for going on the outside of Degner, the first Degner, so I was like, oh, damn it, he's got track position and I've got a penalty, and I checked and he hadn't got a penalty either. So, but very, very quickly we catch up to the back of him. Lap 13, now they're on the same tyres, I can kind of show my pace a bit. It's a bit more of an equal fight this time, not only in terms of qualifying, but in terms of that first stint as well, where he was quicker than I was quicker, as the tyres kind of flipped between superiority. So now they're on the same tyre. He's done a few laps longer, but that shouldn't matter at this stage on the mediums. It's more so the end of the stint where things begin to matter on the medium. So this is just pure pace right here, and again fastest sector 1 as we go through the Degners. Better this time. I only exceeded once on the Degner, so, and that was the one that got me the penalty in the end, but just heading down towards the hairpin. We're going to stick with this one. So we are heading up the hill into Rich. Again, lots of ERS. I started with about 3.3 or so laps of fuel. There's a couple of guys who hadn't pitted yet on the mediums in front, that's why we're in. This is the battle for 3rd and 4th. And again, how's the exit coming out of spoon? I knock it down the third just for a bit more turn in, especially on mediums, just want that bit more. And here we go, then pop it into overtake. I knew I wasn't going to get close, or if I wasn't going to get close enough to go down the inside or outside 130R, but I knew if I kept with it, I'd have a chance heading into the chicane on the outside, back out of it, prioritize the exit of the chicane instead. You can see a much better run. We're a lot closer. Again, that little bump there, again, Scuba unsettled the car. Could be running high suspension there, so here we go then. This is going to be a very easy move in the end. Pull over to the left hand side. But again, much better job done of it this time than the last time. And before the corner is done, we are down the inside, around the outside of Scuba basically, and that is us into the effective race lead. So I purposely ran with softer suspension because bumps on this track are quite, it's like Monaco, bumps are quite nasty, and you want to avoid that if you can. So basically from here on out, it's just me like pushing, like, oh, got a bit on the grass there. I'm just pushing because I need to clear 3 seconds. I've got a penalty, I need to clear 3 seconds. Lap 20, you can see I've cleared it 4 seconds out and beginning to feel a bit more comfortable. I run, take that one okay. There's a clip coming up where I run a bit wide, but lap 20 and 27, I feel safe now. So, anyways, lap 22, 6.3 seconds ahead of Scuba, so I'm in good position here. And Scuba's going to come into the pits to put on a set of supers. He wanted to have some fun with this one in the end, so he came in, wanted to have a few battles on the, see what he could do on the super soft. Didn't want to aimlessly drive around. I understand that, to be fair. So get my entry a bit wrong there. I see you get very wrong, and I run wide, got a warning for that. So I actually forgot I did that until I watched it today. So, but that's going to do it. Like, that is it. Just absolutely what I needed after the DNF in Russia through difficult circumstances. Oh my god, I almost dropped the controller. So anyways, we come around the final corner, and not only does this win give us back on form, but it is the title as well, with 6 or so races to spare. So get in. Very, very happy about that. Absolutely domination performance in the end. I finished 19 seconds ahead of Dan on track, but with the penalty it was 16 seconds in the end. So absolute domination there. You can see Joe Corby struggling without a front wing to finish the race. So I needed that result in a big way, because this is one of my favourite tracks, and now that I feel like I've set up around this track that I know I could do damage with. It's my favourite track to drive, I think, in this game still. Now that I've found the balance, now that I'm comfortable with the track now, with the curves, and I know what to take, what not to do, the setup of the car. So I feel really, really happy about that. So just absolute domination. Didn't set the fastest lap in the end because others pitched on softs and supers, but I know no one else would have touched that time on mediums, given the same life, the same life in the tyre. So I feel very confident saying that. So yeah, happy days. Dan finished second, Steve Patton finished third. So a bit of controversy at the end with incidents between a few people, but there you go. The only blot on my copybook is that stupid penalty, but look, needless stuff at 130R. I got a warning going wide when I was passing Scuba the first time. I got a warning for that, and Degner fine, and then I ran wide at turn 1 again. So I don't know how that's gaining an advantage, but anyways, that's going to do it for round 15 or 16 of DNS Japan. Next up is USA, I believe, another one of my favourite tracks, at least on the last game. So see how we get on. Until next time.